Good Sunday afternoon, everybody. I've not fixed a cooking video here in a couple of weeks, so I am going to make a meatloaf dinner, and there's going to be two parts to this, so stay tuned for the second part. Now, I've never been a big meatloaf fan, but I can eat it every now and then, but I sure do love making meatloaf. And this is a remake of previous meatloaf video that I made right before Christmas. And in the pan, in the bowl, I've got a couple of pounds of hamburger meat. Now, if you want to use ground turkey for this, that would be perfect. And I love turkey meatloaf, but I've got hamburger meat, so I'm going to use that. And in the bowl, I've got 2 eggs and some ketchup, some Worcestershire sauce, and I've got my seasonings, my salt, garlic powder, onion powder, and Italian seasoning. And I'm just going to come in and I'm going to just stir this around. You just want to make sure that everything is well combined. Everything's starting to come together. Next, I'm going to use fresh bread. What I did was I crumbled up a few slices of bread, and I poured milk just right before I went to church this morning, and it's ready to use. What it did was the bread soaked all of the milk. Just don't put too much milk in it. Probably about a few tablespoons or so of milk, just enough to moisten the bread. I'm going to put that in here. And I'm also going to use some dry breadcrumbs. Now, the fresh breadcrumbs are going to keep the meatloaf moist, while the dry breadcrumbs help keep the meatloaf together. So, just stir it around. You really don't want to overdo the meatloaf mixture. Just enough where everything is combined. I may add just a little bit more ketchup in here because we love ketchup on our meatloaf. And I'm going to, in our meatloaf, and we're going to put some on top. Now, get that lid out of the way. Get my pan. I got my pan lined with parchment paper. You know, this is a good dish to make the night before. And go ahead and form these into loaves. And refrigerate it overnight. And then put it in the oven the next day. So I'm going to put I think she'll be able to make 2 or 3 little loaves out of this. There's 2 down. And the other one. Now, as always, wash your hands whenever you're handling raw meat, so you won't cross-contaminate anything. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pour some ketchup on the top. Really doesn't matter how much you put on there. It's good with quite a bit of ketchup on it, I think. sort of rub the ketchup on the top of it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in an oven that's been preheated to 375 degrees. And I'm going to bake it for about an hour to hour and 15 minutes. Now stay tuned for part 2 of my meatloaf dinner.